All right, welcome back to another Go Hunt Lab. So we got Jared Bernstein here. He wears many hats in this hunting industry, but here today he's with RUFF'S Precision Manufacturing, and we're going to walk you through the impacts of rifle cant. Jared, want to explain what rifle cant is when, for a hunter? What does that mean?
Yeah,
have to deal with it.
Absolutely. So there's two ways cant can affect our rifle system. Okay, we can have a scope mounted not square to the rifle, which is a problem, and our product fixes that by putting the bubble in the bottom half of the ring. The minute you bolt that thing to the receiver, all you have to do is level the elevation turret. You know what the receiver's doing. Now we have a square scope to the gun. Then the other problem is when we think about rifle cant, typically we think about during the shot. That's when we usually think about it, and that's what we're going to test today. So we have a 16-inch 308. We're gonna lay that rifle over, and we have a digital like angle reader that we'll be able to show. And we're gonna shoot groups at 500 yards with 3 degrees of cant, and then we're gonna go down and record, and then we'll do 6 degrees of cant. We'll shoot 3-shot groups. I think we're gonna just annotate the average of those 3-shot groups. We are dealing with some wind today in your beautiful desert full of stickiness.
Yeah, there's a lot of thorns out here.
So we're gonna use averages just to show that data point. And I think we had some talk of maybe just laying it over as far as the bipod will go and seeing how far we can measure. So
yeah, because the biggest thing to me, it's like people who don't have bubbles on their gun at all, they don't realize what the impacts of cant are doing. And obviously we could go further distances, but this is like 500 yards. It's probably pretty much a max for a lot of people in shooting situations. So it's a real life situation. This is a hunt, hunt of a lifetime, and you're rushed down laying on the gun and you don't realize that your gun's canted over, you could miss that animal. So we're trying to just prove that today.
Absolutely.
I think it's a really cool test.
Absolutely. We have bubbles on our bows.
Yeah.
Right? And we've all missed shots at 40.
Exactly.
With cant.
And you actually had a buck recently. You had something happen too?
Well, yeah. So within my hunting career, I missed a giant mule deer. And I could not for the life of me, and you and I talked about this previously, I could not for the life of me figure out what went wrong with that shot. We went back to camp, we checked that gun all the way to 1,000, 100 to 1,000, every 50 yards we shot. And the gun was perfect. And I was shooting well, and I was performing. And so it's like, okay, did you rush that shot? Probably, maybe. But then only way we duplicated that miss was to put a bunch of cant into a rifle.
Really? It's a good test.
I think so. She's gusting now.
Yeah, move away from that truck, definitely does.
You know, it would be really nice to do this test in a vacuum, effectively, but I've never hunted in a vacuum.
No, neither have I. I've always hunted in wind.
All right, target. Nine mile an hour.
9 mile an hour wind.
Yes, sir. Okay. Feel good about that?
Yeah.
All right, so step one, just for, accuracy's sake, we're gonna confirm this rifle at 100 yards. Using our bubble level, we're just gonna shoot square, get a good 100-yard group, and then we will go down to the 500 and start tracking the data on camp. All right, folks, so we have our rifle on paper at 100. We are dealing with a pretty decent amount of wind. I think you can probably see me holding that target stand up, but we're within an inch, so we're gonna call that good, and we're gonna go to 500 to start the experiment. Point one. We're within 1/10 of a degree. Good, Brady?
Yep, I'll be good.
All right. And then we do it 100 with no wind, boys.
I'm actually pretty surprised with the wind that's our group.
Yep.
That's 3 degrees of cant.
Yep.
All right. So, you want to hold that guy up center and I'll measure off?
I mean, it's a 1 minute group for 500.
Yeah, so we got 5 1/4.
Yep.
9 1/2.
And 10 1/2.
10 1/2. All right. So, whoa, that's a weird 8. Oh, lazy 8.
I think we need to talk about how you write your fours too. Just go over this entire.
Hey,
Once we get the shooting part down, we'll go to.
I went to a small school. All right, so that's first test 3 degrees. I mean, that was in this wind.
Yeah, but we're consistent. I mean, once we have the wind call right, I don't know that we can blame that. You know what I mean? But we have a 1 minute group at 500 that is an average of 8.4 inches off of center at 3 degrees of Cant.
3 degrees of Cant. So
100 yards.
That's why I'm excited now to get further and see how much now we're gonna start missing.
Just gonna keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go do 6 degrees.
6 degrees?
Yep.
Looking at the gun, I mean,
yeah.
it's hard to tell at 6. Like it almost looks like if you're laying down behind the gun right now, it almost does look level.
It's hard.
It's hard to tell. That's why it's nice to have a bubble level. Like if you didn't have a bubble level right now, you would probably just lay down and shoot that.
It's hard. If you were taking a hasty position on a giant buck, that might not cross your mind right there. You might not feel it. And what was interesting, when we were doing product development, I called an optometrist, and he actually said that, because I kind of was like, hey, I tried to get him to tell me like the effect it would have, and he's a shooter. He's like, I can't tell you that, but I will tell you that in school, they tell us that the human eye will start finding a problem at 3 degrees or more. Okay. So we just shot the 3 degree group, and it was off 8.5 inches was the average, roughly 8.4. And that's him saying professionally that you probably wouldn't even see that.
I wouldn't even see that, yeah.
Right? So now at 6 degrees, you're saying you barely see it.
You can barely see it. Like
in the position.
If I'm in position now, laying behind that gun, I might see it slightly, but like you might still just touch the shot off if you're in rush position. Right. And you didn't have a bubble level.
Right. And half of this was an 8.5 inch problem.
Yeah.
So we'll see what 6 does.
6 is going to be a big difference.
Let's see what she does. You can see it a lot more in the scope than if you're just looking at the gun.
Looking at the gun, you can see it more now.
In the scope, I definitely would be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you want to correct it.
I'm starting to want to correct it.
Yeah.
But 3 didn't look bad at all.
Yeah.
And 3 was a pretty clean miss at 500.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we still have a 1 minute group.
Still have a 1 minute group, yeah.
We are further over.
We're starting to deviate further to the right.
Yep.
6 degrees of Cant.
Interesting that our 2 and 1 is happening. I'm not sure what to think of that right now, but
the problem is I can't see the impacts back there to know which was first and which was last.
Right. Well, the average is a telltale, and I think that's an accurate way of doing it.
I'm gonna try to have better
penmanship.
Yeah.
Be a great segment, penmanship with Brady.
I write like a doctor. So we went from 8.42 at 3 degrees to the right, and now our average is 10.5 inches to the right at 6. So 9 degrees is, I mean, based on this, so that's, we did 2 inches, so we think
stays consistent.
2 or 3 inches probably more.
I have to think 9 starts giving us a more drastic response. But you look at these on a buck, and that is no bueno.
Yeah, you're starting to miss. Missing an animal with 6 degrees. Interesting.
You're missing them on the average of the 3 degree too.
Yeah, you really are. 3 degrees of Cant at it.
You know, you get lucky on the elk and have a real large target, but coos, buck, or mule deer, and that's a problem.
We're proving it. That's what I want to do with this test. Prove Cant always matters.
You just want to prove I wasn't lying.
That's what I want to do too.
All right, for the sake of the test, we are gonna shoot 0 now. So we shot 3 degrees of Cant, we shot 6 degrees of Cant. We're gonna take it back to 0 and shoot a 3-round group so you guys can see where that impacts as well. All right, so we did 3 degrees, we did 6 degrees, which has realistic application to hunting. And then for the sake of the data point, we just went with a 0 degree at 500. The wind was changing on us quite a bit, so we are a little bit off to the right, but overall still within a minute, which is good.
Yeah,
especially in.
Might measure it up just for fun.
For sure.
And this one equals. Wow, that's a nice 2. 2.83.
So we're half minute.
Yeah, so it's a half minute gun at 500.
9-mile-an-hour wind.
9-mile-an-hour winds.
So it's everything's pretty darn consistent. We'd love to see it in the orange, but
yeah. For the conditions though, I'm happy with, you know, doing these and proving we're on zero for all the folks.
absolutely. Want to try a 12 degree?
Go crazy?
Yeah, let's just go crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we're here. Let's canter all the way to the side, do a 12 degree.
Double the 6, see where we are.
Yeah. Yeah. 12 that'd be kind of fun. 12 degrees in the scope's gonna look crazy.
Let's try it. So we did 3 degrees, we did 6 degrees. We went back and shot 0. Had a half-minute group at 0, so that looks good. And a little grand finale.
Grand finale, do something crazy.
With 12 degrees is the max our bipod will give us. So let's set it at 12 degrees to the right.
Which is gonna be insane.
Which should be pretty substantial. So we're showing 12.5. I'm just gonna let it be max. So max is 12.5. I'm gonna hold it max and let it do its thing. See what she does.
12.5 degrees of Cant.
lay down behind that and feel that. It is horrendous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you are 12.7.
That just looks silly.
You see what she did?
That's funny. Let's go measure this bad boy.
Well, as expected.
Oof.
Barely. Got 2 and then got to assume.
Yeah.
12 degrees at 500 yards. No bueno.
No bueno at all.
Give you some numbers here.
So we have 12.5 degrees.
Yeah, it was 12.7 is what it was showing when I shot.
So we had what, 40?
45 and 47. And we are drifting down into the red if you care to quantify.
Yeah.
But for the sake of consistency, just take that.
Yep. 46. Severe.
Pretty darn severe.
All right, so here we are. We're going to give you guys a little summary of our shots. Obviously, we shot 3 degrees, we shot 6 degrees, decided to prove that we're good on 0, and then we did something crazy and it went 12.7 degrees. So for 3 degrees, you know, 8.42 inches off center. You're going to miss based on 3 degrees of Cant. 6 degrees, it was 10.5 inches for 3-shot average, and our 12.7, we had 2 and 1 off paper for 46 inches.
Quite a miss.
Quite a miss. Yeah. With that degrees off to the right, and then 0. You know, we had a 2.83, which is, you know, half-minute gun. So we proved our 0.
Right.
So yeah, it was a fun test to see these numbers start stacking up, and then when you get really severe, you know, this is where we're missing. That's 46 inches off to the right. Camp. Pretty crazy.
Yep. 3 and 6 degrees is still a really heavy impact.
Yeah.
At 8.5 inches and 10.5 inches, that can be a massive issue on an animal.
Uh-huh.
And that's why we did what we did. That's why we just put the bubble there, make it easy for you. It was very important to us to be able to see it from the shooting position with the non-dominant eye.
Yeah, that's what I like about having it on the ring itself. You can see it really easy.
Yep. So quick reference, and it should be able to help people.
Yeah.
Just connect a little bit more.
So that's another edition of GOHUNT Labs. Scientific, unscientific. We did the best we could with the wind.
Look, we're battling wind. We're doing it. We're doing it how we were hunting.
Yeah.
It'd be very realistic to find a giant mule deer right here.
Yeah, in the wind.
So
laying down really quick. So yeah, check out those Ruff Precision Manufacturing rings in the GOHUNT Gear Shop. So What do you got for rings? 30, 34, 35?
Yep, 30, 34, 35 in a high, medium, and low. Our lows are always 0.885, our mediums are always 1.0, and then our highs are always 1.25. And then we just recently released cantilevers, and those are a height of 1.50, more meant for the gas gun or something with a chassis with a continuous top rail. So, and those are in 30 and 34 as well. So,
sweet. Appreciate you stopping by in the desert and getting all full of thorns and
Thanks
getting
for having
rusty. So that was a fun test.
As
Fun
always.
to actually see it. We've been talking about doing this for a while. Put it on paper. We do a GOHUNT labs and did what we thought we'd do.
we did.
Cant's important.
You're missing. You're gonna miss.
That's the biggest thing. Don't cant, you're gonna miss.